What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 135th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So I know that most of you are probably sick and tired of me talking about the whole Trump and him being arrested on crazy charges crap. However, with this whole situation, things just keep getting crazier and crazier, and things could escalate into something more. Something that could be very dangerous to American society. I am of course talking about a civil war, as it seems like there are different prosecutors that are just adding fuel to a fire that is already raging. As I talked about a few years ago, I believe that different states want to remove Trump from the ballot in both the general and primary election. Now we are seeing that come to life. As in Colorado, there was a lawsuit filed by a group called Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics. And they claimed in a statement, if the very fabric of our democracy is to hold, we must ensure that the Constitution is enforced, and the same people who attacked our democratic system should not be put in charge of it. They are claiming that Trump started a coup, which we all know he didn't do. Then we have New Hampshire wanting to remove Trump, as the Secretary of State announced that they were looking into the potential applicability of the 14th Amendment with regard to the upcoming presidential cycle. Along with that, my home state of Michigan is looking into this as well, as Robert Davis, an activist in Michigan, filed a suit arguing that Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson should bar Trump from office over insurrection allegations. Michigan Secretary of State herself even claimed that there is valid legal arguments being made for keeping Trump off of the 2024 ballot. Then Arizona is also looking into barring Trump from being on the ballot. It's a long shot, but the Secretary of State said the Arizona Supreme Court ruled in 2020 that only the state's Congress has the power to remove someone. So if the Supreme Court of Arizona rules that Trump will be off the ballot, then he will be kicked off. Now, two of these states are blue states, New Hampshire and Colorado, but the other two are huge swing states. Trump won Michigan in 2016 by a very close margin, and lost by a very close margin in Michigan in 2020. The same is true in Arizona. Trump won very close in 2016 and lost very close in 2020. If both of these states decide to bar Trump from being on the ballot, then it would be impossible for Trump to win those states, which means more than likely Trump won't win the election, as it would be very hard without those two states for him to get 270 electoral votes. And we can all tell that they're trying to do this because they are trying to interfere in the election, aka adding gasoline to a fire that is already burning wild. And now, once again, the whole January 6th situation is continuing to grow, and the left continues to believe that the event was worse than Pearl Harbor itself, as now judges are starting to go after different groups of people that were there on January 6th. As recently, the leader of a group called the Proud Boys was sentenced to 22 years in prison for his involvement in January 6th. Now, before we dive deeper into this, I just want to say I am not a fan of the Proud Boys. I believe that their ideology is wrong, and they shouldn't have been there at the Capitol at all. I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not one of these neo-Nazi crazy people. I believe they are wrong and they are messed up in the head. And I'm not here to defend anyone who spews hateful rhetoric like they do. And if there was a video of a Proud Boy hitting a police officer or acting violent, then yes, they should be charged. They should go to jail for as long as possible. However, the interesting thing about the leader of the Proud Boys, named Enrique Tarrio, is that he wasn't even at the Capitol on January 6th. as he was actually in Baltimore at the time, and he couldn't go to Washington, D.C., as he had a restraining order after he was arrested for burning a banner and causing damage to a historically black church. He claimed it wasn't racially motivated, but it might have been. So we see that this guy isn't the best guy by any means. But the judge and the jury seem to get this guy because he was texting different Proud Boy members that were there on the ground at January 6th. As he was writing them saying, "Do what must be done." He told them to do it again. He told them to stay in the Capitol. And another message read, "Make no mistake, we did this." So this guy was telling people to do stuff, but he himself didn't hurt anyone or break any laws. Now, I will say that I do think that this guy should go to jail. I think he is a terrible person with the wrong ideas. I would agree more with the 22 years in prison if he was at the Capitol himself with a bat smashing a police officer. I just think that 22 years is a bit harsh for a guy that wasn't even there. Other Proud Boys that were there at the Capitol received 15 to 18 years, and there is evidence to believe that they were doing something worse than the leader of the Proud Boys was. I believe that this is another plot to get Trump or make Trump's arrest look normal, as I believe with this case, they are laying the groundwork for the RICO charges that Trump is facing in Georgia. Let me explain. They want Donald Trump to look like the leader of the Proud Boys in the Georgia election case. According to the Georgia grand jury, as I talked about a few weeks ago, Trump himself didn't go down to Georgia and try to change the ballots. Instead, he motivated his team to go down to Georgia to change the results of the election by using social media, just like the leader of the Proud Boys did. They can also claim that Trump used social media in terms like fight like hell to secretly tell groups like the Proud Boys to go into the Capitol and take over the government. It's a sneaky plan that sadly might work. We all know that Trump did nothing wrong when it came to either January 6th or the Georgia election. But according to the Georgia grand jury, he was the ringleader. He wanted the votes changed, and he wanted his supporters to enter the Capitol. Trump was the ringleader, just like the leader of the Proud Boys was. And now the defendants in the Proud Boys case are linking Trump to the Proud Boys, even though Trump had nothing to do with the Proud Boys. As in the closing arguments of the case, the prosecutor said that the evidence showed that the Proud Boys viewed themselves as Trump's army. They were willing to commit violence on Trump's behalf and were committed to all-out war to keep Trump in power and to stop Joe Biden from taking office. The defendant's lawyers sought to depict the Proud Boys as merely a glorified drinking club, and Tarrio's lawyers sought to shift responsibility to Donald Trump himself. Can you see it? It's right there. They are linking Trump to the Proud Boys, even though Trump has never ever been associated with that group at all. It is a sneaky tactic, but watch Jack Smith use this case against Trump, or any case out there, the Georgia case, the documents case, the January 6th case. They're going to use it to claim that Trump is a bad person. Now, arresting the leader of the Proud Boys won't cause a big escalation. I mean, we can disagree that 22 years is a long time for someone that wasn't even at the Capitol, but still believe that that guy is a bad guy. It is the arrest of Donald Trump using the evidence from the Proud Boys trial that will more than likely put gasoline on a fire that has already been raging. Honestly, if Trump gets arrested and is thrown in jail, I don't know if this country will recover. However, I do believe that there's a possibility, more now than ever, that Donald Trump will be arrested and will be put in jail, as people that were associated with Donald Trump are getting their mugshots taken, and some are even going to jail. As recently, Peter Navarro, a White House advisor to Donald Trump, was found guilty on 2 contempt of Congress charges for defying a subpoena from the January 6th committee. And according to Rudy Giuliani, Trump was very upset about this, and I believe that Trump has a right to be upset about this. These people are going after their political rivals, and we are learning now that they wanted to go after more Trump loyalists, but decided not to. As we once again look at the Georgia election case, as when it comes to the election in Georgia, there is a narrative. you must agree that there was nothing wrong with the 2020 election at all. If you had any questions, then you will be indicted or thrown in jail. As we have already seen that these different prosecutors either want Trump off the ballot or in jail. However, Trump isn't the only person from the Georgia case that they wanted to put in jail, as recently it came out that the Georgia grand jury wanted to also indict Lindsey Graham, as the grand jury voted 13-7 in favor of indicting him. Apparently, he was going to be indicted for the crime of calling Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. According to Raffensperger, Graham called him and asked him about matching ballots to voters, which he felt implied that the senator wanted to throw votes out. Lindsey Graham defended himself by claiming, "I had questions, as did many others, about how the mail-in ballot process worked in Georgia and other locations. I did my due diligence. At the end of the day, I voted to certify the election results from every state, including Georgia." You see, what Lindsey Graham doesn't know or understand is that the problem was that he wasn't allowed to ask questions about the election. What an idiot. It was the safest, most secure election in American history. And along with that, the grand jury also voted to indict Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, who were both former senators from the state of Georgia. I am guessing that they did it for the same reason as Lindsey Graham, which has never been done in the history of America. Can you see what these people are trying to do? They are just going after whoever they can, whoever their enemies are. You're pro-Trump? Straight to jail. You question the 2020 election? Straight to jail. The question is, when does this end? They arrest Trump. They throw him in jail. They arrest his political loyalists and all the people in the groups that disagreed with the election. Do they say, "Okay, thank goodness, we got them all. We are all good now. We don't need to go after anyone else"? Or do they say, "Well, there are more fascists around. We need to make sure that we get them all"? What if you posted something in 2020 about the election? Are you going to get targeted? What if you are a Trump supporter? Are you going to get targeted? I know it's a stretch, but these people have just been getting crazier and crazier as the weeks have gone by. Who knows what they're going to do next week? As we can see with each passing week, these people just keep on escalating things, and I get concerned that one day it will lead to more violence and possibly a civil war. And things are getting so bad for America that even dictators are calling us out for our actions. As recently, Vladimir Putin has made statements about Trump's arrest, as he claimed, "For the prosecution of Trump, for us, what is happening in today's conditions, in my opinion, is good because it shows the rottenness of the American political system, which cannot pretend to teach others about democracy." He also went on to say, "Everything that is happening with Trump is the persecution of a political rival for political reasons. That's what it is. And this is being done in front of the public of the United States and of the whole world." Now, I will say I definitely find it ironic for Putin to be talking about democracy when his country is far from being a democracy. However, he does have a little bit of a point. All of these different investigations show how rotten our political system is. And maybe he is trying to say, you can claim that you have the best democracy, and you can claim that you have the best political system, but what if you don't? What if before you judge the world, maybe you should judge yourself first? Which I think as Americans, we need to do. Now, I don't like Putin, but maybe his advice could help us avoid a civil war or something worse in this country. Speaking of Putin, he has had himself a week as well, as the war between Russia and Ukraine continues to rage on and on and on. I am starting to believe that Putin is starting to get a little bit annoyed with Ukraine not backing down and saying, "Okay, Russia, you can take our land." As I've explained in the past, Putin has talked a lot about using nukes. He has threatened it over and over and over again, but now there's a possibility that he is gearing up to use one of the strongest nuclear weapons of all time. As according to a Russian state media outlet called Interfax, they quoted a Russian official who confirmed the strategic missile complex Sarmat was put on combat duty. Now, what in the world is this Sarmat thing or whatever it's called? Well, it is a missile nicknamed the Satan II. It stands 115 feet high, it travels at nearly 16,000 miles per hour, and has a range of 11,000 miles, and can carry 15 warheads. This weapon that Russia is pulling out is strong and could cause a lot of damage anywhere that it is dropped, as those 15 warheads could be nuclear bombs. Could you imagine 15 little boys, which was the bomb that was dropped on Japan, were put on this warhead? That could cause immense damage to Ukraine. With this idea in mind of putting nuclear weapons on top of this missile, it means that this bomb could be 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The question is, if Russia decides that they are sick and tired of fighting this war and want it to end, and decide to drop this bomb with nuclear warheads on Ukraine, could this escalate into something bigger? How would the world react to this situation? Would we, the United States, retaliate with a nuclear bomb of our own? Could this lead to a situation where we start a World War III? However, Russia isn't done, as recently they've been looking around their region looking for allies. Allies that can help them win this war against Ukraine. As recently there were rumors that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un wanted to meet with Vladimir Putin. There's a possibility that these two communist world leaders could make a trade agreement of some kind. North Korea could offer Russia aid and weapons or missiles, and Putin could give Kim Jong-un what he really wants: technology that will help him create a high-functioning nuclear weapon. The agreement would be extremely profitable to North Korea, as they could ask Putin for food because North Korea is struggling with that, and Putin needs the weapons to make sure that they have an advantage over Ukraine. This trade deal would be a huge blow to the West, but America, along with NATO, have continued to support Ukraine in their effort to hold off the Russians. However, the Ukrainians are not innocent in this situation as well, as Russia doing these different trade deals and getting the nukes ready is bad, but Ukraine almost did something that could have made Russia extremely angry and led to a conflict that could have led to World War III. But it was stopped by one man, Elon Musk. Wait, hold on. You're saying that Elon Musk might have prevented a world war from happening? How did that happen? Well, Ukraine had a plan to destroy a Russian naval fleet outside of the Black Sea. To do this, they needed to use SpaceX's internet service called Starlink to use drones to drop bombs on this fleet. Well, the Ukrainians didn't realize that this Starlink connection didn't reach to Crimea, and so they had a problem. The Ukrainian government needed to get Elon Musk to expand the network, as Elon Musk owned SpaceX and Starlink. According to a biographer of Elon Musk's named Walter Isaacson, the Ukrainians asked Musk to enable it for their drone sub-attack on the Russian fleet. Musk did not enable it because he thought, probably correctly, that could have caused a major war. Along with that, Elon Musk also responded to this by claiming that at no point did I or anyone at SpaceX promise coverage over Crimea. Moreover, our terms of service clearly prohibited Starlink for offensive military action, as we are a civilian system, so they were again asking for something that was expressly prohibited. What Elon Musk is saying here is that Starlink is supposed to be used for people that don't have the internet, for people that want to watch Netflix or go on Facebook or X. He doesn't want his systems to be used for war or for killing people. And so this idea that Elon Musk purposely turned off Starlink to stop the Ukrainians from bombing the Russians is wrong. Elon Musk didn't want his company to be involved in any conflict at all. However, Ukrainian advisors and generals were not too happy about Elon Musk not letting them expand Starlink, as according to a Ukrainian advisor to President Zelensky, whose name I cannot pronounce, wrote on X, "Sometimes a mistake is much more than just a mistake. By not allowing Ukrainian drones to destroy part of the Russian military fleet, via Starlink interference, Elon Musk allowed this fleet to fire missiles at Ukrainian cities. As a result, civilians and children are being killed. Of course, that is a terrible situation, but if you think about it, I still think that Elon Musk did the right thing here, as this could have escalated things in this war, as it wouldn't have been just Ukraine that attacked the Black Sea Fleet, it would be Ukraine using American technology to attack the Russian fleet, meaning that the United States would have been complicit in the attack. And Elon and his company probably would have been blamed for increasing tensions because I don't think that Russia would have been very excited about the Ukrainians using American technology to destroy their fleet, which could have led them to declare war on the United States, which could have led to a World War III situation, which is something that we don't want to happen. So Elon Musk, you saved us. Thank you. However, it seems like for some reason everyone wants to go to war. It seems like everyone is at each other's throats, and it seems that there is no peace in our world today. It can make people feel scared and uneasy. The thing is, we don't want both a civil war and a world war to happen at the same time, as that happened to Russia during World War I, and the whole country collapsed. My hope is with this situation, we stay out of a civil war and a world war. This means that Joe Biden might have to pardon some people to cool down the tension. And it also means that we can't be caught helping Ukraine in any attack against the Russians. That is throwing gas on a fire that is already lit. We can support Ukraine with aid, but they shouldn't be using our equipment or our technology to destroy Russia, because once again, that will lead to escalation. It is time to finally put water on this fire that is burning, not gasoline. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.